Okay, so really, I'm the customer right now, and I'm writing an email saying, you know, I want a quote for 10, let's say, bicycles. I'll keep it simple for now. As a user who's using NAV, I get an email from my customer. So there's my email, and the first thing we can turn on the NAV box within Outlook today, okay? So because it recognizes that contact, it's going to present me with information directly in my mail about that particular customer. So a typical office worker loses 40% of their productivity switching between apps. So when you think of getting a question in your inbox about, hey, this invoice seems wrong, can you tell me why they're charging me $12? You would go from your Outlook, you'd go into your NAV, you'd search for AR receivables, you get the information. So right here, I can really get to all that information. All these blue things are hyperlinks, drill downs. I've got a lot of information on what's happening on my customer. You know, I can drill down, I can go directly all the way to the invoice if I need to. I can show that actual invoice. I can drill right through this, much like you're used to in NAV today. And because it's a customer, it's presenting me some options related to a customer. If it was a vendor, I'd have a different set of choices here. Create a purchase order, etc. So I'm going to go ahead and create that quote form. And it's all the header information's filled in for me, right? It's nice and easy. And I'll just type BI for bicycle. It picks that up. And he wanted 10. I'll put 10 in there, and it's going to prepare the email for me. You see this little template sitting here? Some of you on 2016 might have known that you can now create most of your forms, like quotes, order acknowledgments, directly in Word. So it used to be hard to write or modify those reports. Today we can do them in Word. So this is just a Word template that somebody's created in NAV that says use this template when I send a quote. So it puts all the nice detail there, and behind there is the report, which is also just a report that was created by a user or modified by a user in Word. So it sets all that information up for me, and I can go ahead and send that out. I'm going to head back to the customer, and maybe I should force that email to go right away. Give me a sec. So I'll send that email out. I'll head back to the customer, and I'll wait for that to come back. So there's that quote that just came across. I'm going to go ahead and say, you know, great, like the price, add 2 bikes, and send me the order confirmation. So I'll send that over. I'll go back and be my NAV user again. So there's that document coming back, and you see this link here? It's recognized that this email is referring to something to do with a document in NAV, whether it's an invoice, a purchase order, a quote. So I can actually open it up right there. And what he wants me to do is add to and make an order out of it. So I can just convert that over, and maybe again I want to send it out. Email him a confirmation of that. And it's going to do the same thing we saw earlier. It's going to put the template information in the quote. So when you think of your operational roles, sales, customer service, purchasing, if you do a lot of interaction with your customers through emails, you can now do that work almost exclusively within the framework of Outlook in relationship to your ERP, your financial system. So, you know, we started several years ago bringing those two products closer and closer together. Now I think the wall is down completely between those productivity tools that you use a lot during your day and those business solutions, those ERPs. We can go further. We can actually, you know, edit the customer in here, change a phone number. All of those things can happen directly in Outlook. I just gave you the tip of the icebergs in terms of the types of things you can do from there. So the next thing I wanted to take a look at is embedded Power BI. And this, what I'm about to show you, happened in NAV 2016. We essentially published what's called a content pack for Power BI. So you can simply go to Services in Power BI, you'll see down here there's a little app called Microsoft Dynamics NAV. So if you have 2016, you can just go to sign up for Power BI for free. Go click on this, and what I'm showing you on this screen is essentially the out-of-the-box content that comes with that Power BI. Okay, and once you're in Power BI, you can do things like sales by I don't know, customer and region. You know, you can just ask it questions in natural query language, and it's going to go ahead and create those reports based on those questions. And in this case, I've said, give me a map, sales by customer by region, and I can drill in and out of those, and then I can pin it to the dashboard. Okay, so once you've created these reports come with it, and you can create others by asking questions, or you can get a little more technical and design those reports. Once you've created reports, you have the ability to publish those on the role pages. So if I go down this role page, I've published a Power BI report specifically to my role page. Okay, so in this case, I've got a map of some sales and things. I'm going to expand that out so we can see it a bit better. But essentially, I can design a report, I can put slicers on it, and then I can publish it out to a role page for use. This is a pretty simple one where I've got some sales information, but I can say, you know, I want to see it for just Amy, and we see Amy worked primarily in Europe. I want to see it just for Spencer, and there, you know, you can easily put 5-6 slicers that affect those graphs and those reports, and you can publish it right out to your dashboard. So if you're looking for ad hoc reporting, you know, I got a business issue today. You can, it's a great tool. I have one customer I saw a few weeks ago, the production manager, you know, when he starts his day, he showed me how he starts his day now. He goes, you know, who is absent? And he gets a list of who hasn't clocked in, you know, and then he says, show me my yield by resource. And it gives him his yield for the shift at night, you know, and then if he's got a problem, he can ask questions and go further down the line. So it really facilitates that kind of ad hoc reporting, and traditionally today, you'd have to go out to your IT group and ask them to design you a new report and create that kind of report. You can do a lot with that ad hoc querying. And then you can publish out the reports that you think are useful on a daily basis into Dynamics NAV right in the dashboards, and you can share those out to your colleagues. This is actually a feature that was released in 2016, but it got enhanced in 2017. So when I think about the power of the cloud for businesses, it's not putting your servers in the cloud. It's the ability to consume these cloud-based services that are really democratizing some of these things. So, you know, even 10 years ago, there were companies that did this. Instead of keying in their invoices, they would get scanned, converted to data, and automatically entered into their accounting system. But, you know, even 5 years ago, you could talk to somebody like a Xerox, they'd come in, you'd spend $100,000, and you'd have a system to do that. So really what this is we enable, if you guys are familiar with Lexmark, remember Lexmark printers? Okay. Their biggest business today is this OCR business. They run a huge cloud-based service used by tens of thousands of customers all around the world that don't want to key in invoices. So we work with them, and we've set that up so that our customers can easily consume that service. Let's take a look at what that looks like. So I can go to my incoming documents. You get an email address where you could tell all your vendors to send their invoices. How many of you get most of your invoices by PDFs and emails today? So the extent to which your vendors are sending you PDF emails, most of them are probably capable of it if you ask. It goes to an email address, and all of what I'm about to show you can happen automatically in one step. But just to go through it, let's say I grab a PDF invoice. We'll take a quick look at that. So basically, you know, pretty simple invoice, line item, that kind of thing. Basically, you send it out to the OCR service, and you can automate that step with the workflow in NAV. There's already a workflow template to automate those steps. And then you have to wait a few minutes, and you can go back and receive that document. Okay, and I put some workflow to automatically do the next step, which is create document. It automatically created the document after it came back successfully. And then it's also gotten smarter. So when I first did that invoice, 3 times ago, because you can see I've done it 3 times. It didn't recognize the vendor. So I had to tell it who the vendor name was, and then I clicked this button, Send OCR Feedback. And it goes back to Lexmark OCR service, and it improves. And next time I did it, it knew who the vendor was. So because it knows the data that's there, saying if I get this combination of data, I now know it's this vendor. And so it's very easy to set up. It's not like you spend a ton of time trying to map different invoice formats to data and things like that. It's quite smart in terms of how it works. So that's an example of that e-service integration that started in 2016 and got a little better here. The next thing I want to talk about is the intelligent operations. So we've already done quite a bit of this in our dynamic CRM system. This is the first release of NAV that includes embedded artificial intelligence, machine learning into the systems that our customers can leverage. Okay, so it's actually remarkably easy to set up, and it's called Sales and Inventory Forecasting Setup. So what I had to do to set this up is I had to go to the Cortana Intelligence Gallery. So Cortana Analytics Suite, which has all machine learning products in it. I had to go out to there. I get into Microsoft Azure Machine Learning Studio, and it opens up that package. By the way, there's a couple different forecasting products available depending on what you're looking to do. This one works out of the box with NAV. The other ones doesn't mean you can't consume them. And what that's actually doing is taking a look at your sales history, your transactions, and trying to predict for you the inventory forecast or the sales forecast. There's another example embedded in NAV 2017 around the cash flow forecasting. So we've had cash flow forecasting that looks at, you got a customer order that's shipping in 10 days and their payment terms are 30 days, so I think I'll get the money here, and it does the same thing with the payables and different things, and it calculates your cash flow forecasting. You can turn machine learning on now on top of that to have the machine learning try and refine that cash flow forecast based on those features. So I think of the last couple of years being tying all those productivity tools together, and I think we really finished that in 2017 with what I showed you in the Outlook integration. And I think you're going to see this ability to consume machine learning in a meaningful way to help people make better decisions and be able to predict where their business is going better, becoming more and more embedded into the product over the next couple of versions. I think that's actually going to happen quite quickly. So the last thing I'm going to show, this came out in 2016. But today, you can go to the Google Play Store, you can go to Apple Store, and you can search for Dynamics NAV, and you can find an app that you can download there. So interesting enough, it must have been at least a month ago, I was walking around a plant customer I know, and their quality people used to walk around with pieces of paper to do their in-process inspection, and I guess one day one guy found this, downloaded it, and started walking around with his own iPhone in the plant, and instead of writing it on a piece of paper, he's just keying it in there. So we didn't design a mobile app for just salespeople. Every single function you can do in NAV, you can do on the app. Everything. There's nothing that you can do in NAV that you can't do on this mobile app. You're presented with the information based on your role. So this is my role page, like we saw earlier. If I flip over, I see the same reports. I've got some favorite stuff. I've got a sample trial balance, and it's very usable. So, just keep in mind whether you have an iPad, an iPhone, a Google Play pad, you've got a Google phone, a Windows phone, you can go to the store, download that app, and interact with your NAV system from anywhere today. I think that's it. Cool.